we are looking at the main base of the beautiful man that goes under the nickname of the Mauer, but of course you guys know him as ShoWTimE.
And playing for team Raise Your Edge, it is Bly.
All right, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous already, Ben. I did my homework. I felt prepared. I was ready to talk StarCraft today. I don't see a drone leaving Bly's main base. Like, I'm out of my comfort zone right now.
This is very uncommon, right? Like, he is one of the guys that makes proxy hatch seem very, very normal for him with like so many different openings. And right now he's going for pool first. He started going for pool first before he even saw this probe, by the way. So absolutely not thrown off by this.
I mean, it could just be a good old Roach Ling all in. I'm going to keep a close eye on that extractor timing. He's not taking a gas yet. So far everything seems pretty normal. Other than the fact that he is opening up pool first. Now this gas is a couple of seconds quicker than most of the time Zerg players will take it in this matchup. But that of course has a lot to do with the fact that Bly has a forward hatchery. So you want to have Zergling speed just a little bit quicker to deal with those first adepts that make it to the other side of the map. But I mean... Are we feeling some queens marching to the other side of the map? Queen, Roach, Ling all in, maybe? Is that a possibility here for Bly?
Anything's a possibility, right? When it comes to Bly, and ShoWTimE's very persistent with his scouting, just making sure that, okay, are you actually mining gas? Are you using this? Is it going to be something kind of weird going on? But if you are a Protoss, and you are, if you're in ShoWTimE's shoes, how does the game differ when you play against a Zerg that can be as crazy as Bly?
Well, there's a lot of moments where you scout things, you're like, do I need an immediate shield battle here or not? Those are the questions you ask yourself. I think the answer against Bly will always be yes. Because ShoWTimE is the better player here. Even Bly will probably admit that he's the better player. So why try to save 100 minerals when it can potentially save your game? That's just not what you want. I think ShoWTimE's approach is just going to be figure out what's happening, don't take a lot of damage early on. And even if you go up to 3 bases a little later than you normally want, like this is quite a few Zerglings already. It won't get much done because the Adept is here, but oh, Bly wants to get this round. He gets this around. What an absolutely amazing start here for Bly. Now Bly can actually get this pylon as well. Wow, that's a big blunder by ShoWTimE.
That was super sloppy. I mean, a good catch by Bly, taking advantage of his mistake, but getting the Adept out there in the open like that, wow.
Yep, we can see the defensive rope being warped in, I think, just in case he is indeed going to get all in by Roaches. These links will go down, not before getting a single probe though, so that's nice. I'm sure Bly would love to get another one. That is not going to happen, but hey, just running around with these links here is already annoying. There's a happy little Zergling in the natural as well that should have maybe gone for that probe. But in my opinion, it's a pretty damn good start for Bly, right? He killed the Adept, he killed the pylon, a little bit of lost mining time, got a probe. Like, if I was ShoWTimE right now, I'd be super emo. But ShoWTimE, he just looks in the mirror, and then there's nothing to be said about because he's a beautiful man.
He certainly is. And, okay, there was direct damage done, right? Like, the Adept going down, maybe... Did he lose a probe or two? I don't know if he did.
He did. Lost one probe in the main.
But the main important thing is those Adepts wanted to be on the other side of the map, poking, prodding, scouting, most importantly, and seeing if they can get damage done, and they haven't been able to do that. And like ShoWTimE, he's definitely going to be feeling under the pressure a little bit, given that he has no idea what's going on the other side of the map.
Nope. And we know it's a very quick lair on the side of Bly, so he can do a lot of things with this. Could be super quick mutas, not bad at all against a robo opening. Can also be Nidus later on, but I actually wouldn't be surprised to see a Spire here. Now, I also want to point out that ShoWTimE walled himself in. He clearly got a little bit worried in case this was a link flood, so he's got a full wall in his natural. These kind of games are always awkward to play because he's going to have to kill either a gateway or the boundary, most likely the boundary to get out, but then you don't have that boundary anymore later on. At this point, the only way for ShoWTimE to get some information on what Bly is doing is with that War Prism. This is definitely not a great start for the Mauer, but hey, give him a couple of Adepts, give him a War Prism, and he's gonna even things up real quick.
No, and he's certainly doing that. I mean, this is very reminiscent of that old CJ Hero style that we saw on... In fact, what was that map called where he did this? But
King's
4 drones...
Cove.
King's Cove, yeah, I remember that. And 4 drones going down and no Adept lost. This is the kind of damage that he needs to continue doing. And wow, 2 Stargates going down.
I kind of like it. The link drop here, though, that could be very cool. Maybe that's why Bly went for a super quick Lara, so you can actually start dropping a couple of Zerglings in the main base. ShoWTimE still being annoying on the other side of the map, getting 2 more drones. All of this damage is really starting to pile up, and the main base is very exposed. D-Mauer is getting way too much damage done here. Great plays by him. A little bit sloppy by Bly. Let's see if he can get something done with his drop Overlord. But Ben, he doesn't have Overlord speed. ShoWTimE has vision of it as well on the other side of the map. I don't think this link drop is getting much done. And I actually love the double Stargate. Potentially Phoenix, I assume, against the Roach opening here by Bly.
Yeah, in fact, what is the worker count at right now? It's got the Protoss being slightly ahead / even, and when going for double Stargate play, that is definitely a good spot to be in. And how many drones have gone down? 12 so far as well. But this link drop curve, it is actually going to get in here, which is probably not meant to happen, honestly.
I am actually really surprised by that because ShoWTimE saw it. He had Stalkers in the right position as well, but in the end, I guess he didn't really realize that that was a Dropper Lord and not an Overlord. So this is super good damage for Bly. A little bit of lost mining time, a couple probes go down. I don't think you're gonna really get much else, but gets a great scout as well on the double Stargate, so Bly knows he can drone forever. Yeah, I mean, it's very playable now again for Bly. They're both kind of just dealing blows to each other left and right, and they're both getting good victories.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy game from here for either player. Like, they're both being made to be uncomfortable, and it feels nice to see ShoWTimE play like this against Bly, because I do think if you are a solid player, if you're not going to die immediately to anything too crazy, double Stargate is a great way to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bly goes Roach Corruptor here, by the way. I think that would be a better play. Wow, Bly's making 12 Overlords at once, Ben. What?
Yeah, that might have been... I think it was one of those moments where he supply blocked, and then he keeps trying to make units. It's like, okay, I need to make Overlords, and he forgets how many he's made, and that just shows you, like, how much pressure these players are under. 80 out of 170 supply.
Elaser is out there proud. He's like, yes, that's how you do it. Now, this is pretty insane. He just went from 72 available supply to 176.
I mean, this is one way to approach the Phoenix opener, right? Like, yeah, I know I'm going to lose a few Overlords. I'll make 1 or 2 or 10 too many, you know, for the time. Oh, these Phoenix are getting so much damage done in this main bane. This is really falling apart for Bly right now.
Yeah, but then again, I think a follow-up is not that... Well, actually, ShoWTimE's got 3 Immortals. Never mind. All right. I was like, normally follow-up aggression after double Stargate is not that easy to do, but ShoWTimE had a very quick robotics facility, and man, ShoWTimE makes this look easy. I actually feel like ShoWTimE could have really gone for it. I think he's afraid of what Bly has. The thing is, Bly doesn't have much at this point. Not at all. He's got 9 Roaches against 3 Immortals and 5 Sentries. If ShoWTimE attacks Bly here, this game is super over.
Bly's trying to muster up a lot of Roaches, which, you know, they're pretty much the only unit he can make to really fight. I mean, Lings will do the job too if he gets enough of them, but he's got 1,300 gas to use, so I'm guessing he's going to try and get out a lot of Ravagers to put that gas to use.
Yeah, and I guess Ravagers are always good, even if you don't have upgrades. There's no Evo Chamber, but Crossover Bar is pretty damn good, makes it awkward to micro. I mean, Bly got very lucky that ShoWTimE didn't decide to actually march to the other side of the map, because I promise you, this game would have been over. That army of Bly was nothing. Still losing a lot of drones. I've got to say, I'm very surprised that Bly managed to lose 24 probes. All right, we've got all the queens just marching to the other side of the map. So Bly's kind of going for it with 59 workers, 96 army supply. Looks promising. The Ravager count is stupid high. There is potential, but I think that D-Mauer can live up to his name here and hold. But it won't be an easy one.
No, not at all. I mean, this group of Ravagers, that is a huge amount, and he's marching in straight away. Decent force fields by ShoWTimE for sure. Gets a few Ravagers to start things off, but it is not over here by any means, because Bly is going all the way with this.
Yep. It's very important that Bly takes care of the defensive force fields. He needs to keep taking care of them. Lings are actually kind of annoying to deal with here as well. But ShoWTimE has multiple shield batteries. If I was Bly, I would maybe land a couple of crossbows in those shield batteries. Super battery activated as well. 1 Immortal does fall. But I think with the Phoenixes showing up, a couple of defensive Zealots being warped in, I think ShoWTimE is going to be fine here because he's got 7 batteries on our screen, but...
That is a hell of a lot of batteries, but more Ravagers being morphed in ShoWTimE's face here, and the Queens, they are starting to get closer now, and they got transfused, and the overcharge has worn off, meaning that those batteries, they're only normal now, and a few of them getting picked off immediately by the looks of it, or at least the pylon. This is a really dicey spot for ShoWTimE.
It's a bit dicey. It's annoying because Ravages are hard to engage, but I think as long as he doesn't lose any workers, he's going to be more than fine. Now, if all of these links run into the natural in the main base, I love that call by Bly. That is a beautiful call because this actually makes the defense a lot more difficult for ShoWTimE. And the Robo has been on power during all of this. I'm only realizing this now. Good warp in on the Zealots though. Bly just making Bly things happen. He's still at 102 supply, but the Ravager count is not as high as it was before.
Yeah, and he's really sectioned off that army, and he's really kind of dealing good damage to ShoWTimE's economy, but he did retain his Phoenix count. He does deal with quite a few of the Ravagers. He's trying to pop forward. Another overcharge is up, meaning these Zealots will live for quite a bit longer, and Bly's army supply isn't really going down too hard, but these are juicy, weak Ravagers.
It's about to, Ben. If Zealots get on top of Ravagers, that's kind of all you need, and there is nothing to protect these Ravagers anymore. So ShoWTimE and his 7 batteries do manage to hold in the end. Bly is like, I need a Baneling Nest for Zealots. It's like, well, that's going to be kind of hard, because Bly obviously just lost the majority of his queens as well, so he's only working with 3 queens at this point. These Phoenixes were super useful, not necessarily for the amount of damage they did in that fight, but just making it really hard for Bly to go in too deep, because then Bly would know that if he ever had to disengage, he would leave his Ravagers for that. And that's why I think you have to be a little bit more careful as well with getting his units closer. Just a good hold by ShoWTimE in the end.
No, it was a really good hold, and a pretty darn threatening attack, honestly, considering he lost 24 drones before that happened, and it was kind of that close. I've got to give credit to Bly. It was a good, spring to action fight. I don't know whether it was planned or whether it's because he took so much damage. Now going for 14 drones behind this. And we got to remember, Kev, he went for so many overlords. I think a lot of macro decisions didn't quite go his way, but he's still in this game somewhat.
He is still in the game, and if you have a lot of Ravagers, obviously magic is possible, because Corrosive Bow is definitely an ability that gives you some good comeback potential. But I'd be lying if I said I liked his spot. I actually really don't like his spot. He's obviously behind in upgrades. ShoWTimE is about to have +2. Templar Archives is being warped in. Bly needs a little miracle. Maybe a great Baneling connection, maybe some fantastic Corrosive Balls in the middle of the Protoss army. Then it's possible. But if nothing happens and ShoWTimE just gets his dream army, then the units of Bly will really start falling off real quick.
Yeah, and it's okay getting Banelings for the Zealots, but ShoWTimE's already countering the Banelings with the Archons that he's making, and +2 almost finished, whereas +1 isn't even halfway along for Bly. He's obviously very, very behind and very desperate.
Yep, Phoenixes are so nice as well here because there's barely any anti-air, so even though you don't want to lose a Phoenix to Corrosive Balls, you can kind of just pick off 1 Ravager at a time, and it's also so sweet as a Protoss to just keep track of this army. You know what I would have really liked to see? Since Bly is not getting any anti-air, why not a Dark Shrine, Ben? You know, warp in a couple of Dark Templars here. Tell me one reason why that would be a bad thing.
A few Banelings blowing him up, Kevin, maybe, doesn't exactly need vision for that, but no, you're absolutely right. That would make Bly's life even harder, but I guess ShoWTimE in his head, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to muster forward like a real muscle army. Gets the queens in the middle of the map too. That is nice to deny creep spread.
Yeah, and all of them have quite a bit of energy, so that always makes you feel a bit better about your pickoff. Kind of think we're getting ready for round 2 over here, guys. Bly might just be waiting for +1 to finish up, but he can't be feeling good about it. He's gonna send the... Oh, there is a Zealot, actually. There's a Warp Prism in the main base, but a lot of Zealots. Getting quite a bit of damage. Spots the Spire as well. Let's see what the Banelings can get done on the other side of the map, as Mapu is already showing us. That the answer is not much.
No, that feeling when you're trying to do an all-in for the second time and your opponent's managing to harass you still, forcing your whole army back, and your harass does nothing in return. ShoWTimE's just absolutely in control. Oh, okay, 2 probes. Nice split, nice movement by ShoWTimE. He's just playing so well, man.
Oh my god, it worked!
Yeah, I almost did it. I almost did it.
As he got 2 probes there, and not really what you're hoping for. Obviously, for Banelings, the magical upgrade is +2 melee. If they have +2 melee, they will start one-shotting workers and makes them a lot more threatening and intimidating to go up against as a Protoss. Bly will get a cancel on the 5th base. That's nice. I really wonder what the Spire is for, because I feel like if he wanted to make Corruptors, he could have made Corruptors a long time ago.
It's a weird move, right? Because now he's getting... Oh, he is getting Corruptors. He's also getting the Infestation Pit, meaning he wants this game to go on. I feel that, though, that any choice that Bly makes is probably, it feels like the wrong one at this point. ShoWTimE's just getting so far ahead and making all the right moves. What is the resources lost have at? Wow, ShoWTimE's been so efficient.
Yeah, 10,000 difference in a 15-minute game. And you could say, like, well, Zerg can still win if Zerg was on 82 drones throughout the last 10 minutes, right? 82 drones, 4 bases, while Protoss is hanging in there with 55 workers. Then those numbers are not too bad. But ShoWTimE is actually the one who has been outmining Bly for quite a bit in this game. He's been severely outmining him for the last 5 minutes, or at least last 2 minutes. So it's a very bad spot to be in. Bly is in all sorts of trouble. But for the people who don't know, we used to talk about fantasy GG timings. Well, Bly is the European fantasy. If you give this man a bailing, he's going to stay in the game because he always believes he can make magic happen. And I think some Zerg players would have probably felt like, well, this game is over. I'm out of here. Not Bly. Bly is going to stick into it till the bitter end. He's going to fight until his last Ravager, his last Bane. He's going to try to set up a good engagement here. Grabs an Archon. That's a lot of banelings as well. But ShoWTimE does a good job in splitting up his army.
He certainly does, and there's so much ShoWTimE all over the screen, and Bly runs into seemingly a 180-degree surround, and there's so many Archons, so many Immortals, so much firepower, and Bly is +2 attack finishers now, but every Baneling has disappeared off the map.
Pretty bigger anti-timing as well, as +2 melee finished up now. It would have obviously been better to go for that massive engagement with +2, as Bly lost literally all of his banelings 5 seconds before this finished up. And I think even Bly is going to realize that this game is pretty much over at this point. This Protoss army won't get stopped. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE takes the 1-0 lead.
Really clean play by ShoWTimE, honestly. Like, at the start, the Adept dying like it did, getting grabbed like it did, I was a bit like, oh my gosh, is Bly going to get him here? But ShoWTimE retained composure and just played very, very solid to the end.
Indeed. So let's see if Bly goes a little crazier, right, in game 2. That'd be very nice. As this was, yeah, there was a timing. There was an all-in. I honestly think this game was lost by the amount of damage that Bly took of those 2 adepts, and add a little bit of miss macro on top of that, right? The 72 into 176 is not necessarily the way that good build orders work for Zerg. He was also indeed sitting on 11-1200 gas. He had a good start. He really had a good start. He just took too much damage of 2 adepts and a war prism. And hey, I get it. Prisms are annoying, adepts are annoying. You know, we've all been there. But if Bly wants to take out a player like ShoWTimE in a tournament like this, he needs to clean up his defense because he took too much damage there.
Oh, definitely, definitely. And you're totally right. Those 2 adepts with the Warp Prism and the 2 adepts seemingly didn't die for a long time. And it was like, okay, we've got 12 drones. And, you know, most harass options that Protoss go for, even if you go like Adept Glaives, obviously you kind of want to kill the Zerg, but if you get a lot of damage done, it's kind of for a trade-off. But that absolutely was never a trade-off. It was just damage being done for free, basically. And yeah, it is a new map. So Zergs often play the defender in this matchup. And it can get a little awkward knowing all the little tricks and where you have to place your queens and such. But the same can be said about the Protoss here with trying to defend that all in. And we did see that ShoWTimE got into a bit of a tricky situation there. But yeah, he's just very good, man. The ShoWTimE's playing so well.
7 batteries make defending a lot nicer though, especially if you already have like a lot of Immortals there. Those are not exactly units that will still die if they're under the effect of a shield battery. And then of course battery overcharge was used a couple of times. I gotta say, what I like the most is how much value he got out of 6 or 7 Phoenix. Everybody knows I love Phoenixes. I've got a weird obsession with the unit. It's so good. But like ShoWTimE never got too carried away, right? It's not like he had 16 Phoenix and he really needed to win the game with Phoenix. No, he made 5, 6, and he just picked off Ravages over and over and over again. Got some good economic damage done with them as well in the main base. Later found a couple of stray queens. It's just ShoWTimE is really good in getting proper value out of his units, and that's what we saw there. A lot of minor investments with very big returns.
Oh, no, definitely. You bring up a good point, actually, which always I find incredible, is how do you know how to make the correct number of something? Because he got 2 Stargates, which to me means he's making a massive commitment, but the 2 Stargates were just about the urgency of in which he needed the unit. So he's like, boom, up to 6, then I'm stopping. And it's like they got so much damage done as well and just forced so much panic on the other side of the map. And Yeah, it was just very, very good play. All the timings were there by ShoWTimE.
Yeah, there's a chance that maybe he thought there could be a Spire. Bly does like Spires in this matchup. And obviously, since Bly got into the main base with his circling, saw the Robo, maybe ShoWTimE is like, in case he goes Mutas, I'll have Phoenix. And if he doesn't, I'm pretty sure I'll get some good damage or good value out of them anyway. And that's absolutely the case. So here we go. Map 2 is going to be played on Everdream. In the bottom left side, look at the main base of the man who's down 0-1. Hailing from Ukraine, it is Bly.
And spawning over in the top right side, playing as our blue Protoss this game, it is ShoWTimE.
I like it. Bly is going to take the hatchery in the center of the map. So he's going to pretend like he wants to take his natural, but instead he's going to take the base here with the rich Vespian gas and will most likely go for an early game Roach, Ravager, Queen, Zergling all in. If you guys wonder why wouldn't he take the one on the other side of the map, that seems quicker and you're going to be able to hit a little bit harder and faster. Protoss players got really good in denying this rich Vespian gas. They will either steal it or they will have stalkers on the high ground, sometimes with a pylon and a battery there, where they will just keep shooting at your extractor. So you keep losing the extractor and you won't get any value out of that rich gas, and then you can't properly do your all-in.
Let's see how fast ShoWTimE scouts this. So he puts his probe there. Was it in vision exactly?
Yes.
Yes, it was. So very nice for ShoWTimE to find out what he's up against as quickly as possible. Now, will this change how he does his base setup? What do you think here, Kev?
In my opinion, ShoWTimE should take that gas. Simulators have a lot of HP. Our good buddy Nathanius has been complaining about this for the last 7 years. Like, why do our simulators have double the health of the other gases? It's like, well, I actually don't know, Nate, but I'm okay with it. He's like, well, I'm not.
It did get nerfed at some point, though, right?
Yeah, no, it did indeed. But it's still better than the other ones. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I remember a long time ago, I think it was like QXC was complaining about how a pylon and an overlord build faster than a supply depot, and it stuck with me forever. I was like, oh, you're totally right, man. But yeah, we'll see how this game folds out, because so far the extractor hasn't been taken yet.
I know. I mean, Bly is obviously going to take it. Maybe ShoWTimE takes, I don't understand, 75 minerals. I would go for it. Obviously, now Zerglings are out. So at this point, I think it's a little too late to really get away with something like that. Now, obviously, you don't want to overreact if you're ShoWTimE here. It's important to take this serious. It's important to understand that Bly can get very aggressive here. But there is no need in a full-on panic of like dropping cannons and batteries. Because then if Bly just macros, well, then suddenly the game becomes really awkward. The downside of what Bly is doing though, Ben, is that if he doesn't do anything with this, you are going to take a lot of damage of Resonating Glaives Adepts, okay? This is ShoWTimE. He's very good with that build as well. Your bases are so spread out. I don't really like the idea of Bly actually just trying to macro here, but it seems like that's what he's going for.
So is what he's gone for just like a massive mind game, hoping that ShoWTimE overreacts to him taking an aggressive base and then playing standard?
That seems to be the case, but ShoWTimE now scouts, so ShoWTimE knows exactly what's going on. Bly is making a lot of Zerglings, though, like a ridiculous amount almost, this early on. While he's only at 23 drones, he's losing a lot of mining time right now, and this is why Zerg players don't take that base as default, unless they want to go for a crazy all-in, because Bly is in a bad spot already. That was a lot of damage to take in this phase of the game.
Oh, I love the proactive, like, shading away, just knowing that these Adepts are still in danger. And just making sure that these Adepts are going to get home safely, because every Adept counts when you're trying to do an Adept glaive all-in.
Well, so yeah, not necessarily an all-in, right? It's
but a pressure build, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he is going up to, what is this, 4 gates, so yeah, absolutely not super all-in or anything like that. And is he still mining mass gas in his main, or is it 2 on each? 2 on each.
2 on each, yeah. Now, this is this is a build that we see an insane amount in PvZ at the moment. We saw it in the GSL being used a couple of times, and games just ended. Now, that Roach one, I don't want to say is late, but it's a little late for me. That means that Roaches are not going to be out at first. I really don't like where this is going for Bly. I actually think he's in so much trouble, because at this point, he's going to be forced to produce nothing but units. But if he takes a bad fight with the Lynx, from that point on, Ben, he's always going to be out of position.
And not one Roach is on the field yet. Not one is even being produced just yet. And when you have a Protoss at equal supply and the Zerg only has Queens and Lings, yeah, Queens are good guys, but he's also going to be supply blocked pretty soon. Like 63 out of 66?
I would love to see ShoWTimE just run into that mineral line and stay there.
But I think ShoWTimE's almost given him too much respect right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, we see the whole situation, and ShoWTimE's like, okay, he's got an army, but whereabouts is it? And the thing is, it's not really truly on the field just yet.
Well, he's going to let this Shade finish up on the ramp. That is a fantastic fight for these Adepts when the Zerglings are going to disappear. And once the Links are gone, the Adepts will always find a place to deal damage. There are 3 mineral lines to strike. The first Queen is already down. I think Bly will survive because he has a lot of roaches out on the map. But he's going to survive with like 19 drones, and it's going to be very sad.
Oh, and I love this splitting up by ShoWTimE. Leaves a few Adepts in almost every base. Bly is going to be able to defend at his kind of natural third base, I suppose. And he does seemingly have a good number of roaches and units everywhere. But the thing is, he's down to 30 drones against 42 probes right now, which is exactly the position that ShoWTimE wants to be in.
Yeah, ShoWTimE is already in a really good spot, but he could have done a lot more than he managed to do in the end. Good job by Bly, of course, for not taking more damage than he actually did. But that doesn't mean that this is a good spot. Can he counterattack? That's often the big question after a Resonating Glaze build. With 13 roaches into a 2-base ShoWTimE, I'm afraid that the answer is no. First Immortals on the way. Obviously, if you counterattack, you're going to end up losing more drones as well. I gotta say, though, there was more potential there for ShoWTimE, and that's a silly thing to say because he's in a super good position, and I love everything about this spot, but the game actually could have been over already.
It could, and now his opponent is in a position where he does have that rich Vespane gas, which, you know, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but he is making a lot of roaches right now, which can become Ravagers, and yet again, in ShoWTimE, he's just starting his third base. It still could get dicey. Ooh, Blink starts. How do you feel? Does he even have charge? No, he doesn't. So, how do you feel about that, Kev?
Yeah, a lot of Protosses are starting to get more and more fond of the Blink Stalkers. I feel like it started off as a CIS thing, where it's like real, you know, Hellraiser, Skillers, they're like, we love Blink Stalkers, and my boy Goblin has been doing it more and more. And now it seems like all the other Protosses are kind of picking up on it as well. They're like, yeah, we like Blink. And then, of course, you've got Parting, who like makes magic happen with Blink Stalkers. Personally, I think he could have done this in many different ways. I would have preferred Archon Zealot here, I believe. Now, Bly is setting up a big flank with the Zerglings, and that actually is a really good move for Bly, as he lands Corrosive Bowels on top of the Sentries and Immortals as well. Oh my goodness, ShoWTimE, as he is now forced to tap out, because he did not see that flank coming. And just like that, I said it, I don't know how Bly is going to win a game, but somehow I have the feeling he's going to. He should not have won this game, but he does. These are just Bly things, guys.
It was just Bly things. Like, I really thought that attack was going to go much better for ShoWTimE, the Adept attack, I mean. And I thought, okay, splitting up his units well, but Bly also split up his units very well to counter that. I almost think sticking in the main base might have been the best decision there.
Absolutely, because a lot of the roaches were in production in the center of the map as well. So even when those roaches are out, it takes forever. If ShoWTimE would have kept all of his Adepts in one place and then Shade with all of them to another place, he would have always been winning the fight somewhere and would have done more damage. Now we saw Adepts just fighting roaches one-on-one in the main base. Not really what you want. We saw some Adepts fighting roaches in the center near the third. Also not really what you want. So that should have gone better for Bly, or excuse me, for ShoWTimE. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we often don't think about too much is like the rally points between bases, right? Like if you get in between all 3 of the rally points, which was outside the natural for Bly, which is where a lot of Adepts were, that is the easiest meeting ground for all of his units, including his queens and stuff. And Adepts, they are awesome, and they can be okay against roaches when the Adepts like outnumber them, maybe like 1.5 to 1 or 2 to 1 or whatever. But in that situation, no. Bly actually handled it very well, and the rich Vespane gas came in very, very handy for that amount of Ravagers so quickly.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, he was in a horrible economic position. I kind of heard Big Gabriel chime in there, and he's like, this is a game-deciding attack for Bly. And I was like, you know what, Gabe? You're right. If this attack doesn't go well, ShoWTimE gets up on 3 bases, it's better. I mean, obviously, we didn't really get to see Blink shine, but this is also one of these moments where at charge, you research a lot faster than Blink Stalkers do. And obviously, if you get flanked there by Zerglings, having a couple of Zealots in the mix already is just a lot better than having Stalkers. The Stalkers Immortal never really want to get surrounded by Links. They'll survive. They'll take care of Zerglings, but it takes a while. That means that Corrosive Bowel can land as well in the center of the army. I mean, We can talk a lot about what ShoWTimE could have done better, but we got to give credit where credit is due. And Bly just wins games, and that was a beautiful flank with the amount of Zerglings he had.
He pounced, man. He's like a tiger. You know, he knows how to kill people in StarCraft 2. It's ridiculous. And he's always so, like, and this is the thing about Bly, and we saw it in the first game. He did attacks and they didn't work out, but they still seem kind of scary, right? Like, these timing windows that he goes for, he knows how to utilize units very well and get out a lot of them very, very quickly. So he's obviously got that early game down and such. Going into the next series, is there any opening that you feel would be nice against a player like Bly to do as a Protoss?
I think that ShoWTimE can just open Oracle, because then you get map presence and you get a good idea of what you're actually going up against. And I think as long as ShoWTimE has a couple of units out on the map, he's going to be okay. With Revelation, he should be able to find out what's happening in the mid game as well. I'm looking at Pillars of Gold, and I'm a bit surprised. I'm like, is this a map where you can proxy hatch? I mean, yeah, you can, but it's such a long map that every unit you make in your main base is not really going to work. If I see Bly in a game 3 on a big map, I say Nidus, man. Bly's gonna Nidus this game.
I mean, he absolutely could. I haven't seen Nidus in quite some time, it feels like. You know, for a while it was all the rage and stuff, but I don't see that many players resorting to it that much. But in my head, I'm like, okay, Bly is definitely somebody that can resort to that. Anyhow, getting right into the game here. And it is game 3 between ShoWTimE and Bly, so your prediction was absolutely correct in that it was going to be a closer series. And spawning in the bottom left as our blue Protoss, playing for Team Big, it is ShoWTimE.
And in the top right side of Pillars of Gold, we're looking at the main base of the man who claims to be on fire for many years. It is Bly.
What do you think of...
Sorry, we have to talk about the drone.
Yeah, sure.
Talk about the drone. The drone is heading out. Most likely, we are indeed going to see a proxy hatch. I was a bit concerned about this because I feel the map is too big. But hey, we are going to get it. Go ahead, Ben. What did you want to ask?
Well, I was wondering where he's going to put it. So you think it's just going to be straight in the... I guess it's going to be straight in the natural, eh?
Yeah, I guess it's a hatch block. So I guess he's going to hatch. Wait, is he sending out another?
Oh.
I'm so confused. He thought about hatch blocking, but I think he changed his mind and he's going for the proxy hatch now. I don't think even Bly knows what he really wants to do, man.
No, and that makes it so difficult. Like, he had 2 drones dancing at different parts of the map, and now that drone that went out. So what did he necessarily see that...
Okay, he wanted to make sure he could just take his natural, and now he's going to take his natural, and he's going to hatch block. So okay, well, this is an interesting way of getting somewhere, but this is kind of what you do want if you're Bly. ShoWTimE is really not going to let this hatchery finish up, as we can already see him chrono boosting out the Zealot. I think most of the time these starts work out all right for Zerg, actually, because this actually hurts your economy quite a bit if you're ShoWTimE.
Oh, it certainly does. And I guess sending out the drone as early as he did, even though it was kind of dancing around a little bit, it was just to avoid the scout and the probe, right?
Also to make sure that he could take his natural still, because I think if he takes a proxy hatch first, or the hatch block rather, I think ShoWTimE will keep the probe on patrol on his natural all the time, and then Bly would still be forced to expand elsewhere.
Okay, so Zealot was made, and you know, ShoWTimE dealt with this as well as you can. I think a good number of probes was pulled. He didn't overreact or what have you. But Bly, this feels like it's more in his zone, right? Like, he's used to weird openings, and now he gets the full scout as well, seeing what's going down. He's delayed any sort of tech or follow-up by ShoWTimE.
Yeah, it's so nice to have that drone still around in the main base as well. He is going to see where pilots will get placed. He might see the first tech building because the adept can be botted and take care of the drone. ShoWTimE is like, you know what? I want to get some economic damage done on the other side of the map. So he's going to run both the Zealot and the adept towards Bly's natural. Now, Bly doesn't have much at this very moment, but with 8 Zerglings and 2 Queens on the way, I don't think Bly really needs to lose more than a drone here. Like, maybe 2 drones, but I think if Bly handles this well, a single drone should be... actually, he's going to lose quite a bit more.
Oh, I mean, getting right on top of the drones here. Oh, nice. So he does sacrifice a Zealot, but... Oh, wow, going to get the second drone. Make that... Oh, nice, turning into a Spore there at the last minute. But 3 drones still falling to this. I think this is quite good for ShoWTimE, honestly.
It's all right. But we'll see where Bly is able to take it. Now, obviously, if you take care of the first adept, you take care of the Zealot. You also know you've got some freedom. It is once again a 3-minute, 30-second lair that is going to get scouted, actually, by this second adept. Wonder if that changes things for Bly. What are we up to, Bly? And I mean, obviously, with this scout, I'm certainly okay with ShoWTime's position, and we can see the Stargate being built in the main base as well for ShoWTime. So, we'll see. I mean, what do you think? Could Bly go Swarm host Nidus, maybe? Like, I don't know. Is that a thing?
It's so I think they're both in an uncomfortable position, right? Like, ShoWTime, he's against a 2-base Zerg right now. And does he know that he's gone for a lair? I think
Yeah, he scouted with the adept.
Okay. So he needs to continuously scout and check out what he's against, because right now it could be, I don't want to say spy. I think realistically the biggest thing that he can, 2 spores. So he's playing defensively with this. I think he's going to end up just taking a 3rd.
Oh, wow.
Oy.
That goes down as well. That's actually kind of annoying, because now these Zerglings can start working the battery. I like that warp in, by the way. But now it gets surrounded. ShoWTime did not expect extra Zerglings to show up. So Bly gets another adept. ShoWTime is probably wondering, what are you doing, Bly? None of this makes any sense. But Bly is loving it. And this is annoying for ShoWTime.
This is super annoying. Like, he's having to make another wall behind this just in case the shield battery goes down. Oh, I love that Stalker going into that position there. Does still lose a probe, but it was a nice kind of crisis management wall. Okay, Kevin, I think you were right with the Swarm host call.
Ooh, the Oracle took so much damage, by the way. That would have been a very painful loss, because ShoWTime doesn't know yet what we know, and that is indeed that there is a infestation pit going down.
By the way, like, Immortals and Stalkers can't get out of this base anymore, right? With the way that the base is set up?
No, Stalkers can, I think.
Oh, he's actually fully walled. More.
You don't think Stalkers can get through that?
No, I don't think so. Oh, it is Nidus as well. I think the gateway to gateway there is too tightly packed. But especially with the pylon there. I mean, it can't get through with the pylon.
No, not with the pylon, but the ShoWTime let that pylon finish up. Seems like the answer is yes for now. Okay, so he felt a little bit uncomfortable, worried.
And he's going up to 6 gates. Or is this 7?
7 gates. Okay, well, if Bly just makes roaches now, Bly actually goes for a full wall off. This is not what ShoWTime wants to go up against at all. And I also think that ShoWTime was really hoping that Bly was going up to 3 bases already, so these adepts can really shine when they bounce between all 3 mineral lines. I am actually very worried for ShoWTime over here, man.
And this is a map where I'm looking at around ShoWTime's base. Nidus can go up in a lot of locations too to fly into the natural and the main above the main. So it's going to be ridiculously hard. Nice find with the Oracle. So ShoWTime knows what he's up against, and he is running to this natural, but boom, he's been locked out.
Yep, full wall up by Bly. Can Queens pop out? No, the Queens don't want to get out of that Nidus. I guess the Queens is just worried about home. I don't really know. The Adepts just want to, I guess, at least open this up. They're actually going to shade forward, which means a lot of these Adepts will start going down. The Warp Prism is in the main base as well. Bly, where are your roaches? Shouldn't you have a couple of roaches, my friend? He's got a few, but that's a lot of Adepts, man. Jeez.
It certainly is, and it was nice focus fire on the Queens, getting them down so no transfusions can go off. There are more roaches popping out immediately out of this lair. Now he stays and fights with all his Adepts, and I think Bly's going to hold.
Well, Bly's also seems to be seems to be more occupied with dealing damage on the other side of the map, as he just put all of his locusts in the Nidus network. He unpopped a couple of them, so Swarm also, of course, means that the locusts will start dealing with these Adepts, but Bly did not really handle this the way that I felt he potentially could have handled it. Maybe the roaches were just a little bit late. Maybe he felt a little too safe behind his wall. I gotta say, I don't often see Adepts just stand there and bust down an Evo chamber. But I guess if you have this many Adepts, all of that is possible.
What a low econ game between these guys. We've got 38 workers versus 41. And we're 8 minutes into the game, and you know the craziness isn't going to slow down anytime soon. And these Swarm hosts, if they're used correctly, never really trade out negatively. Oh, what? He lost the Nidus.
He didn't lose the Nidus, but the Adepts are going to shade away actually to the other side of the map. But now the Locust just turned around. Hell, what? He was actually above the Stalker already, and he turned around with the Locust. These Locusts, they don't need a lot of time to deal a lot of damage. Now the Adepts come back. None of this makes any sense, guys. I don't know what we're watching, but it's happening. Adepts are now fighting Swarmos and Roaches at the same time. It's so many Adepts. They might get the Ravager. Corrosive Bow lands in the middle of it, but doesn't really deal enough damage. What a bizarre turn of events. I have no idea what's happening in this game.
Me neither. I think they're both a little flustered and a little bit like, what on earth are you doing to me right now? Because they're both absolutely dealing quite a bit of substantial damage to one another. The probe count and drone count are leveling up slowly, but they both just want to deal damage to the other one. This is one of those lightweight boxing matches where they're just hitting each other in the face.
Yep, over and over and over again. A ball does connect with the prism, but that's not enough to take care of it. So Adepts are gonna, well, a couple of them are gonna stick around in the natural. A few of them will go into the main base. ShoWTimE is just looking for drone kills, and he's getting quite a few of them already. And at the same time, still shutting down Nidus networks on his side of the map. What a bizarre game, but obviously with every second that goes by, this is starting to look better and better for ShoWTimE, because Bly's build is supposed to hit quick and hard. No Zerg ever wants to be on 2 bases for a little too long. And if you are on 2 bases, Ben, you want to start dealing damage on the other side of the map. It's just not happening. None of that is happening. We've got 4 Oracles now as well. This was a fun one, but I'm starting to feel that ShoWTimE is really taking control of all of this.
I think so too, and building up this little Oracle fleet as well when there's nothing to shoot up. Obviously, Queens can pop out, and he's even trying to make a panic Spore Crawler over here too to deal with, but yeah, there's just so much ShoWTimE everywhere. Yes, this wall has been remade by Bly, which is kind of cool, but there are a lot of Adepts here. Once again, the Oracles reign supreme on ShoWTimE's side of the map.
Yep,
oh, that's so many Adepts.
That is indeed. More drones are going to fall here. Maybe the Queens will go down as well. All of the Adepts might show up here in the main base. ShoWTimE loving this fight this time. It does seem like we have a good 2-to-1 ratio now for the Adepts, as they will just fight the Roaches heads up. The Oracles are going to join in the fun as well. Why the hell not? War Prism is going to send in a few more reinforcements. And I think, Ben, that this could very well be it. Even though this is Bly, and we know that he likes to fight till the bitter end, this one is not going his way anymore.
No, it certainly isn't. He's moving drones away from the natural as well, but the Adepts are marching back in there. Just 2 Roaches remain, and the Adepts, that is a lot of juicy drones to knock out, and the Oracles just kind of escorting them. Oh, this is a terrible situation for Bly, but I think ShoWTimE's done it in a very, very chaotic Game 3.
Yes, this game had a little bit of everything and leaves us with a lot to talk about. What a fun way to start the second day of round-robin gameplay here at the DreamHack Summit StarCraft2 Masters. As Bly is now down to 11 workers. He lost more drones than he has left. Never a good sign. There are still 5 Oracles flying around as well. Maybe just kind of trying to figure out where did this go wrong. GG gets called. ShoWTimE with the